line earlier, and this actually could have been a matchup where the winner went into the playoffs. If the stars had have aligned in the earlier matches, this could have been a very, very competitive game with tons on the line. Not the case, though.
Doki's saying, "You're done," next in chat here. Setting the tone for the game to come. Fingerban first out on the board. That is G2 taking that away as they are on the defensive side first. The defenders always ban the first attacker. That way the attackers can choose the second one. Nuke will follow along. A little bit of an odd pick here on Border.
On Border is a bit of a strange one.
Yeah.
I will want some confirmation from the admins on this because I actually don't know the global point system goes into the group stages. Because if you finish in last in your group, you would be in that 13th to 16th category. If you finish in third in your group, in theory, you'd be in the 9th to 12th group, where you'd finish either 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th. And there are, as far as I'm aware, different points awarded based upon whether you fit into the 13th to 16th or 9th to 12th. If W7M prevails, then they go into that 9th to 12th category instead of 13 to 16th, which would knock Heroic down. It is still crazy to me to think that the two top-rated teams out of both LATAM and EU are the two teams that are going home in this group. I understand that for W7M, freak circumstances occurred for them now to play in Mexico due to visas. But Heroic just struck me as land jitters. A team still trying to find their footing. They haven't been able to do it. There have been teams here that are new, like Astralis, like XSET in North America, who have been doing significantly better, even though they don't have anywhere near as much experience as some of the players do domestically, maybe not internationally.
No, you are correct, rather, and there are so many different factors to keep in mind, and the easiest one is, of course, that Heroic is a new team. That is no excuse, so to speak, but you have to be careful you don't overhype or expect too much. I mean, we've seen that with both Liquid and BDS in the past, where, oh, it's their tournament to win, only for them to go out in the quarters or semis. So keep it cool, and right now, so is G2 and W7M, because the first round has just begun, the prep phase has just ended. The operators on your screen is what they will play throughout this entire next 3 minutes. It is must-see to deny the drones from the side of G2. No mute to follow it up, so every single wall is quite bare. That means that W7M can make quick work with the Heartbreach utility that they do not even have, which means the real winners here, I guess, it's G2. But the thing about Border is that it's much like the map that it kind of replaced of Coastline. You don't need heart breaches, you kind of just need guns, aggression, playing together, and you can definitely just play for kills on most of these bomb sites. It is armory first. We will see, and currently, well, not much is happening. I'll tell you a bit about W7M in case you are curious. Keys and Volps, the top two performers, both plus 59 in KD and plus 48 respectively, and on their entries, just as lethal. Plus 7 for Keys, plus 9 for Volps. In other words, these guys do not miss very often, and their first combatant is Doki inside of CCTV as he is sitting nice and tight, but Volps from down below could use a grenade to take out that position once they gain a bit of information. Or not. They really are just waiting right now.
Well, these funky bans that come in from G2, I wonder what we're going to see on attack. I like the Warden ban.
We've seen it a lot today.
Yeah, I mean, that leads me to believe that there's going to be hell to pay for these W7M players. The one note of W7M, for those that haven't been following along in BR6, is how impeccable they are on the roam. Their attacks have been good too, but their defense has been absolutely spectacular. If they can run up the score here on attack, then things will work out really well for them. And hey, that's exactly what they're doing. First 2 kills go in favor of W7M. G2 wiped off of the board. They get an answer back. A Brazilian of their own, and Ali Mao takes down Volps, but not long for this Earth. Taken out over by East Stairs. And more to follow. But it's Herds this time around. A Citizen gets very aggressive. He loses HP. It's not a clean trade. Still works. Staring towards security. Doki is back up into the bomb site. Nice shot onto JV. And now Doki can reposition towards the doorway to Armory and watch for a second push. E1D burned down, and there goes the clone of Yana, the Gemini used to try and scout out where these players are from G2. Keys knows exactly it. In towards Fountain, now GDN goes, a veteran of the scene, a name that might be familiar to you. Doki decides to go for an engagement, maybe buy some time with 20 seconds left. There's a soft wall, soft destruction is there if available, but Keys doesn't want to use that nade. No reload as the flashes go in to burn the magnet, and down goes Citizen. Doki will need to clutch out, does damage to GDN, hiding now behind one of the soft walls or behind one of those half walls. Can't do anything about it. Keys with the final kill. W7M take round 1.
I like how Citizen tried to talk on the bomb chassis, thinking they might not see me here. He was blinded from those flashbangs from GDN up above that kind of like half-wall area above the Archives wall. But we could see you, Citizen. Half your entire body's like sticking out, your leg, your arm, your shoulder, etc.
If I stay incredibly still.
If I can't see them.
Nobody will see me.
They can't see me.
Not the case, Ben.
Not the case at all.
Not the case. We try it. You try it. We can try it in ranked. It's not going to work out. Not going to work out for anybody. Decent roam for G2. Killed a lot of time. And then Doki and, well, Citizen just can't engage the way that they want to. A bit trapped. I think Doki decided to swing.
Yeah.
W7M just prepared for it. Immediately going downstairs into the bathroom. Bomb site is the second defense for G2. Nothing funky about this one. They're going to stick on the Oryx, the fastest operator in the game.
We gotta say it every time,
every single time.
Every time. Yep.
See, because you know why I say it every single time, Nick? Let me tell you, caster to caster. Because somebody who watches our match in, say, North America might not watch a match of G2 versus W7M. There are likely people. And if you're in chat, feel free to say hello.
Hi.
If you're in chat right now, if you don't hear us commentate other matches all that frequently, please show yourselves. Say hello. Prove my point to the broader audience that every single matchup is a new match. Imagine they are done in isolation because fans come, fans go, and I have to tell you about Oryx every single time.
On the other side, if you listen to most, if not all, of our cast, then get used to it because we will keep bringing it up as much as we can because it is relevant, and relevant things should be spoken of. Speaking of relevant, we had actually Alamau hiding earlier beneath the desk inside of ventilation, but now we got Virtue running for his life, and, well, Carl, he got found out. It's Keys, once again, or Keys rather, finding another kill onto the side of G2. Opening kill, 2 for 2 so far for W7M side, and is leaving G2 kind of, well, panicky. They're running around a ton, creating distractions and trying to find openings, but none being allowed so far as Hertz finds another. It's Prano off the board.
Good start so far for this W7M squad through 2 rounds. A minute burned off of the clock. Waiting game for G2. Again, W7M, their stars excel and shine brightest on defense. Down goes JV to Citizen. G2 finally gets on the board. Smokes will go off in front of Herds. Does he want to walk on in? He might. Second smoke gets tossed out as Volps falls to Citizen again. 2 for G2, all from the same player, that pesky Brit of Ben, as they call him.
Ben 10 is what used to come back in my day in G2, and he is a phenomenal player. I think he thrives in these chaotic situations, and I think Ben, in general, Citizen, would do really well against aggressive players, shutting those guys down in similar fashion of Shaiko, because Shaiko and Citizen are very much comparable in how they play the game and what their playstyle shows, but it's Keys, once again, finding another opening.
Doki had no chance there whatsoever. I wonder if you have to adjust the scope to look a little bit farther down when Doki's playing. Kills on both sides. W7M softened up. It's Citizen now to clutch out. 2 players remaining.
Wait, that's a false yellow ping.
He's got some spots in front of him. I don't know what the team is thinking, but it cost Citizen almost all of his HP. PDW reloaded for Herds. Big magazine of 51 bullets to go rat-a-tat-tat whenever it would like. GDN gets the diffuser down. Now things get even tougher for Citizen. He doesn't seem to know where it is. What bomb site is it? Well, he has to go find it. Or he can just waste his time. At this point, 10 seconds, 15 seconds burned off of the clock, and he'll soften up that wall leading into the back of Workshop. Go back through the metal detectors. 2 players from W7M will watch intently. Where does Citizen come from? Where does he go? Something, Cotton-Eyed Joe? I don't know. We're in the south, right? W7M lock it up. That's 2 rounds for them. G2 looking a little bit listless so far on their defense.
So, you know, I think MacyG on Twitter brought this up, but I knew about it before even because I saw it on Reddit. I didn't actually know it myself. But did you know, Parker, that when you plant the diffuser these days, it'll tell you, not for the spectator HUD, but for the in-game HUD, it'll tell you what bomb side the diffuser was planted on before you actually see the diffuser yourself. So when you're a Citizen roaming halfway across the map inside of customs, and you're like, oh, where did they plant? It'll actually tell you this kind of like circle icon centered of your screen top side, it'll show you an icon A or B, or a letter rather, A or B inside of it. That's the bomb side in which the diffuser is placed on. It won't show you exactly where, of course, but it'll tell you either or. Something that got changed back in Crimson Heist, so not too long ago, but also not too recent. And it kind of went underneath, I don't know, the eyes, the surface. People didn't recognize this was happening or this was changed, but it is. So if you are playing Rainbow Six Siege, you know, commonly ranked casual, whatever, if you're running around the map and you're roaming and the enemy team plants a diffuser, you can see of which bomb site that happened to be on in case you are curious. You too, Parker, in your Gold 1 ranked games can also utilize this to have higher success rate in those retake situations.
Oh, no more Oryx. Womp womp.
No more Fast Man, but we do get to see Thunderbird, actually an operator that I think we've seen very little of so far at the Charlotte Major, and an operator that I think is very high in value, and I'm curious as to why we don't see more of Thunderbird, because... Wait.
What the hell is this?
He's fighting the world.
Ali Mao right now doing his best Thanos impression to take on all of the Avengers of W7M through that jail wall. One snap is all it takes. He can kill half of them. Well, I suppose not half, because you can't kill 2.5 out of the 5.
2 kills and half health damage.
I suppose that's as close as you're going to get. Ali Mao didn't do a single point of damage to any of the attackers. God, this Finka ban makes me just look at the old lineups and think, what could be? What could be?
What could be again?
A note to you, if you play ranked, ban Finka.
Every time,
You're
please.
welcome. Every single time. Here are the 2 operator bans in ranked for attack, Twitch and Finka. Your games will be so much more enjoyable, I promise you. Maybe Zofia, maybe a Montaigne here and there. Doki decides to engage, W7M walks right in, first pick, gets traded out, keys dropped by Citizen. Citizen seems to be the only player from G2 that spawned into the server at this point.
Yep. Also, oh, there we go. Alamao now finally got healed back up from those Kona stations. Virtue still needs a touch of health as well, but, well, if you wait too long, the reload time that it takes for those Kona stations to go back up, well, you might not get there in time before the round is over, because W7M is making quick work of the map and quick work of these gunfights they're getting into. Speaking of which,
no, Citizen, you can't be going that way. JV outduels him. The best player from G2 is no more. A second for JV now as Prano is down. And it's Ali Mao and Virtue in a 2v4. And Virtue's going to go for it. He's feeling pretty nasty. JDN with the diffuser in hand at the halfway point. Enough coverage for the 3 players. Air jab taken away. Ali Mao executes JVM and then continues to go forward. But no, it's Herds to silence Ali Mao. Virtue in a 1v3 with the diffuser down. Nice shot onto Volbs. That's a beautiful thing to see. But Herds and JDN still remain. You got some marks inside of the bomb site. You'll have to go fetch that diffuser. Second time on this bathroom bomb site for G2, working out about the same way it did the first time, which is not particularly well. Drone spot Virtue playing just by main lobby. He's got to watch his back. Opening in a workshop with only a couple seconds left to get there. Both Kona stations primed and ready. Can get Virtue back up to full HP, but the moment that he tries to emerge, it's all over. The diffuser's already well past the point of no return. Herds is literally sitting on the Kona stations, gets healed right back up. And 3 players still left in the server as the diffuser hits 0. It's 3-0 for W7M.
it is, and G2 not looking alive, and I was expecting some really explosive rounds, some aggression, some fighting back and forth, but right now it's, well, G2 is acting like a punching bag, and w7m is acting like an actual boxer, and it's a very one-sided matchup right now. Maybe going back to Army is what G2 needs to bring something on the scoreboard on their side. First, the replays. It is very one-sided replay. We see a kill here for G2 Virtue. Boom! Celebration. Wow! Fist bombs. Of course, w7m, as mentioned, can no longer go to playoffs. So if you don't see them celebrate to great effect in their player cameras, that is likely why. They are fighting for bragging rights and to get ahead of Heroic in their group. But outside of that, nothing major on the line. Maybe some SI points. Still waiting for confirmation on that, I believe. But a bandit here on the side of G2 and Prano, trying to now deny these walls, which, again, if G2's been paying attention, there hasn't been a ton of hard reach on the side of w7m, and they're actually attacker repicking away from Hibana onto the Lion. So similar fashion, they recognize they do not need it. They're just gonna take the fight to G2 and purely win based off those gunfight engagements. That might be a problem. because G2 has brought out the mirror, and the mirror windows is going to make it more difficult for w7m to contest in those specific areas. That, of course, is CCTV, as the mirror is in the armory wall, but Citizen falls early, the top gunner of the squad. The only player with more than 2 kills inside of G2, well, he has to wait till the next round to try and get that higher than 4, because the Jaeger, he's gone.
Citizen, what are you doing? His best Icarus impression as he flies too close to the sun and gets his wings melted right off. And he falls back down to Earth, except Earth is quite literally in the dirt. G2 not putting up anywhere near as much of a fight as you might have thought. I feel like there's been a closer battle between Ali Mao and the players at W7M on Twitter than what we've seen in the server so far. But I actually can't read all of what he says because of that UI.
Oh, he's hiding in the smoke?
No, he's in the smoke. Herds, he's in the smoke. He's in the smoke. He's still there. It's Doki now as they finally get the kills they need, and Doki needs to retake. Here's the Zofia, down goes JV. Doki has a 1v2 lined up, and it looks like isolated engagements that favor the small Scotsman. And he gets pounced upon, but he gets Han Solo pistoled by Volps. Nicely done. Down goes G2. W7M is up 4-0. If you hear that sound behind us, that's just Astralis getting pumped up for their match.
Does Astralis game even matter? I actually don't. I'm gonna check, because like they're always so excited when they play. It's hard to tell when it's like they're actually excited because it matters, or they're just
singing
excited to
Happy
play.
Birthday now.
Yes, is it someone's birthday here? A player? I don't recall that being the case. It's time to check Twitter. Whose birthday is it? Anyway, they are singing Happy Birthday behind us.
It's according to Rainbow Six Liquipedia.
Yeah.
There are surely people who are missed, but it says that it's Li Lun's birthday today.
Oh.
But she's not here as far as I'm aware. Wolves are done for the day. It's Chiefs versus Astralis up next.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're singing to her. Maybe Liquipedia doesn't always have the most up-to-date birthdays. You know that Doa's birthday is listed the same as mine, which is not the case.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, it's Wolves versus Chiefs. So it's not Astralis. Astralis has already just played, I guess. It's Wolves
then
versus
it makes
Chiefs.
sense.
So they are. Well, I saw Astralis sitting there. I saw Astralis sitting there. So it is Wolves versus Chiefs. So they were likely singing Happy Birthday to Lilu. So if you could join us and wish her a happy birthday, do me a favor, chat. If you are in here and you use Twitter, at her and wish her a happy birthday. Unless Wikipedia is wrong, and then it'll be hilarious because her mentions will be awash with people wishing her happy birthday on the wrong birthday.
Also, while that's been happening, Citizen doing his best impression of a little bit of a sneaky Cavera here.
You played with somebody who played Cavera once on a bank map, if I recall correctly, in a major final. Would you like to fill people in?
Jonas did, my former teammate, did the first interrogation in major. Jonaski, as his full name is. Jonas Savalainen in Finnish, as his full name.
He's a race car driver now.
He's a race car driver now in the esports side of things. Also likes to go on the track in real life. Anyway, he walked past 2 claymores because he is colorblind and cannot see the laser. Somehow didn't die to them. Against EG, got 2 kills, and the third was an interrogation. Fabian tried to follow him, asking, is there any dangers? He says, no, it's fine, it's clear. The moment Fabian walks up the staircase, claymore, he dies. And he goes, Jonas, there was a claymore! Speaking of something happening,
Ali Mao, very first pick. This is the first opening pick for G2 as well. W7M on attack have been much more formidable than we are used to seeing out of them. Again, the hallmark of this team is their defensive play and how they just smother you when you try to go into the building. W7M have very decisively won this first half. They're up 4-0. Can G2 keep it close? That's the real question. This bomb site right now is inside of Customs. A second kill for G2, third will follow. Numbers for W7M being reduced to almost nothing. Herds is miles away from the bomb site. He's the last player alive. Could be a flawless round for G2 if they can't track down this Jackal. That's not Herds on your screen. That's Ali Mao, wrong Brazilian. He's laughing. Either way, the absurdity of a Cavera, and you just know they want to give Citizen that kill. Let's just ride along with Citizen for a second here, shall we?
Oh.
Never mind. Doki Nitro sells Herds. There's a huge amount of screaming from G2, by the way. Seemingly elated at that one. No flawless round for them, but no 7-0 on the dogged for W7M. G2 finally get on the board.
This very likely means, Parker, that we won't see a 7-0 in all of the group stage here at the Shadow Major. It's very likely, because I imagine the Chiefs-Wolves game has already started, and if not, well, there's still one final chance if that's not the case, but every game has been a 7-1 or a 7-2 or 7-1 or higher at the very least. And that might, I have to check the archives. Is this possibly the first time we haven't seen a 7-0 in groups at a major? Is it possible?
I mean, you're asking me to go through every single major that we've ever had.
We haven't had that many.
Okay, hold on a second here. We haven't had that many. We've got the Charlotte Major right now. We had SI 2022.
Oh, you count SI as majors?
Of course they are.
Oh, okay.
You had the Sweden Major. You had the Mexico Major. You had SI 2021. You had SI 2020. You had the Raleigh Major. You had SI 2019. You had the Paris Major. You had SI 2018. Nick, that is 10 major tournaments.
If you cut out SI.
Hey, in Taro, try to think back to every single group stage match of the last 10
'cause you cast
majors.
them all.
Yeah, I have casted all of those.
So you should know this.
It does.
I wasn't casting back then, so it's not my job.
It is actually astonishing to say that I have casted every single one of those.
That is ridiculous.
Because the first SI is considered a major by Wikipedia terms, but wasn't a major in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
The first major that we had involved the group stages in SI 2018, and then the first 6 major, which was in Paris, which...
Yeah, which we won. Very dominantly, and you casted it, and I
didn't cast the finals.
Not the finals, but you were there.
But I did cast, I was there, I was present. I actually thought that either I would be looking for a new casting partner or that would be my last time casting Rainbow for that event, as I've told a couple of times, but that ended up not being the case. First kill goes in favor of W7M. They want to set a brisk pace here in their very final attack. Nitrocell goes off from Prano. It's botched. He doesn't have a kill yet. Candela is also going in. Part of the idea behind a Warden ban is to enable operators like Glaz, like Ying. W7M cleaning up on kills. G2 answers back, and now it's an advantage again in favor of the Brazilian team, leaving Citizen and Virtue on a nice shot. If there's any player on this team who's going to be able to pull that off, it's going to be Citizen, and it might be Virtue. But he's back on the Cav again.
Oh.
No. Interrogation! He does he even pull it off in time?
He got the kill.
He gets it off in time. Good Lord. And now it's Keys and Virtue in a 1v1. They have to send us home happy. Virtue has the diffuser down right now, and he can sit on it inside of Archives if he so chooses. Keys is 10-3, by the way. He'll go on to drone. Plenty of time left. Do it. Jump out. Jump out. Do it. Do it. Jump out. Nicely played by Virtue. First half in the books. 4-2 in favor of W7M, but G2 starting to stitch together their own impressive set of rounds. And they're having a good time right now. Vibes are very high.
Vibes are indeed high. It's a nice way to end off the groups for them, of course, just having a good time and having fun with it. I do want to say, actually, G2 calling a tactical timeout. This might be one of those, all right, guys, how much power do we give them, right? Do we just go full-on Ying, smokes, craziness? Or do we just, do the default stuff that won't show anything off? So we'll see what they choose to do. But Chaz can talk to his teammates, and of course, W7M and their coach can also communicate while this is happening. So when one team takes a tactical timeout, both teams can do the talking.
So I do want to issue a clarification. As we'd asked this at the start, my suspicion involving the global standings, Nick, is correct for that matter. Thanks to our good friend Jack, a.k.a. Fresh, Jackie Boy, there is a difference in global points administered based on your standings. If you finish dead last in your group at a major, you qualify in that 13th to 16th spot. You get a lower cut of the prize pool, but you also get fewer points that lead for you to get to SI. Obviously, the global standings are what matter for the 6 invitationals. You need to be able to get enough points to make it there. You can dominate 2 stages and absolutely fall off another stage, and your road to SI becomes impossibly harder. Look at TSM and Sonics. They were both the NAL champs and the SI champs. They both made it to SI. One because they made enough points, the other they didn't. Both teams finished towards the bottom of NAL. They're not going to be getting a lot of points here. Ditto the other teams across the league. Look at Ninjas in Pajamas. Look at FaZe. Falling out of play, they get fewer points. If you finish in 13th to 16th, which is dead last in your group, where W7M currently sit, you get 50 points.
Yeah.
If you finish 9th to 12th, which is 3rd in your group, you get 105 points, which can be quite a difference. So this match for W7M does actually matter quite a lot. For G2, this match is meaningless in terms of points, in terms of standings. Doesn't matter. G2 could lose 0-7, nothing changes. W7M, all they need to do is pull out a win. If they do it in regulation, they surpass Heroic. In terms of round differential, they take the spot for 3rd in the group, and it's Heroic instead who finish in that 13th to 16th spot and get fewer points towards SI.
Interesting note. Keys following or continuing his streak, taking out Doki. And one fun fact actually, if G2 lose to W7M, the only team G2 has beaten at SI is gonna be Heroic. Because they lost to DC, they lost the W7M last time, and they're currently losing as well. That puts them in this odd position.
I mean, I do want to remind you that even when G2 loses, they're losing in overtime.
Yes, they are.
So they're still picking up points. G2 might only win 2 matches, but they've got points in 3 of them because they went to OT. That's about the equivalent of a normal win.
Yeah.
So at least you're salvaging something and keeping your games close. If you're W7M, you need to win in regulation. Hand G2 their first regulation loss, and then you move up to 3rd in the group. If G2 pushes you to overtime, W7M finishes dead last. Efforts like this from Virtue are what G2 needs more of. As we're at the halfway point of the round, and W7M have 1 more body alive than G2 does.
Citizen and Ying is the first I think I've ever seen. Normally Alama, of course, is the Ying player. Prano right now having a tough time, the only player in this lobby. Actually, I take that back. GDN and Prano both struggling to find their first kill, but every other member in the lobby has been activated on the scoreboard. Where they still stand. We're waiting for G2 to make the first move, but Citizen on this Ying is having a bit of trouble finding his way in. It's a trade as Prano gets his first kill onto Hertz, but not before Keys takes down his teammate.
Keys is still up, even though he's downed. He's still alive. They'll need to retrieve him, but no, Virtue, a beautiful flick. Wow, that's
He's
really
actually very fast for his age. He's like the fastest person I've played with, reaction time-wise.
Virtue? How old is he?
27?
Oh my god, that's so old. That's ancient.
How old are you, Parker? What's your age?
Doesn't matter.
No, doesn't matter.
Age is a social construct. We invented time based upon the Earth's rotation, and I will hear no argument otherwise. Virtue trying to make the best out of a bad situation. What can he do? W7M not as stifling on their defense this time around. They're just playing farther back, letting Virtue take up as much land as possible. He doesn't hold the diffuser. He might pick up an impactless kill here, but he won't even do that. JV ends his run. It's 5-2 for W7M. They're inching ever closer to finishing better than Heroic in the group and picking up an extra 55 points towards SI.
So actually quite a lot of points for just a single match here. Almost, you're basically doubling, a little bit more than double your SI points just for this single game between 3rd and 4th place. So pretty high value for these teams going forward long term. W7M right now drinking some water, staying composed. They still have their tactical timeout if they want to use it. Whereas G2, well, they took it earlier on. They will no longer have that available at their disposal. But then again, G2 are still kind of playing their cards close because they're not playing their main operators on their main players, what we know them for. Ying is what we qualify as, or classify as an execution operator, like an execution enabler. Basically, you play her for the late stage of the round. It's very rare that we get to see a Ying being used in the first minute and a half to clear out the roamers. Normally, those Candelas and the smoke grenades are saved for when you want to try and get down the diffuser. So, while G2 are forcing the Ying with the Warden ban, they're not necessarily getting into the right positions to use it. So we have to see them kind of get more speedy up in the first half of these rounds, get some map control and get some kills, because otherwise, JB with a cheeky bubble here outside the building.
Evil Eye Cam going onto the armory wall.
Bubble.
A bubble as it's referred to by...
competitive players.
What are we?
We're not competitive. Oh, okay, I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
You're learning. Ladies and gentlemen, he's learning.
For once.
I do want to say, as a side note, one of my favorite things to make this match entirely about me, of course, because that's what I have to do,
of course,
is that I always like casting new teams. I'd never casted Heroic before, for example. I've never casted W7M. They just lost JV92 to Prano, G2 with the first pick. I've never casted W7M before. I wish we met under different circumstances.
Yes.
I wish they were here, obviously, of course, like everybody else, but I also wish it was a match that had more significance for both teams. G2 continues to keep things rolling as I finish my own little anecdote. They pick up kill number 2. Nitro Cell goes out, does not connect. W7M getting picked apart right now, and a flawless round for G2 is also on the cards. They've already got 1. Why not 2? They will get it though. Volps, nicely played by Volps, but he's blinded by Citizen, running that old Tempera logo. Goodness gracious, that's a team I haven't heard of.
It's a throwback.
It really is a throwback. The old Heroic roster was picked up after Tempera left, and then they got relegated, and then Heroic went to another org. A nice long lineage there for you. G2 is not going to let W7M go quietly, even though W7M do have the lead. No tactical timeout taken, other than the G2 one that was a couple rounds before. Not much else to say.
No.
Not much to break down here. G2 are just playing extremely loose, disciplined, but not with any real overall structure, especially when you invoke a Cav on defense, as they did twice. I'm just very glad that we didn't get teased or tempted, and there was an actual interrogation that went off.
Are you saying Caveira is not a serious competitive pick, Parker?
No, of course she's not.
Man.
I feel like there are strategies where you want to run a Cav around a set play. If you think a team is quite poor at droning, if you ban a Jackal and you think that they don't drone well and you aggressively put mute jammers around and the Caveira goes unseen, yeah. But the benefits that Caveira have is on teams that don't talk and don't have any coordination. You're not going to find that at this level.
You're not. And that is typically the name of the game, is that the higher level you go to, the less Caveira gets played. Same story for ranked. You know, down in silver and gold, Caveira's presence is quite high.
I like you say down in gold, as if it's not like the middle of the player base.
Well, it's below the highest rank, so it's down there. No? Okay, in the middle of the pack, in silver gold, Caveira's presence is quite high, but the further up you go above that, less and less and less. So there is a statistic there. Another statistic is that the highest level of play in ranked, so Diamond and Champion, they get hit by the most traps, so like Frost traps, Capcan traps, etc., of any rank. Bronze and Silver players get hit by less Frost traps than Diamond Champion players.
I think that's for 2 reasons.
Yes.
And I think we see it at the top level of play the same, right? Pro players get hit by Frost mats, pro players get hit by Capcan traps, and it's because your opponents are usually so much more proficient that they're better at defending. They know how to engage, just as W7M are better at defending right now, and they get picked number 1. But you look at it this way, right? And you're less likely to get hit by Capcan traps or Frost mats if you have the luxury of time. Most of the ranked plays at lower levels, you have so much time because the defenders can't punish you. G2 is punishing W7M as they get 3 very fast kills, leaving Frost, who we've been talking about as one of the 2 remaining operators up for W7M, in the hands of Herds. It's a nice drop in GDN with that suppressed MPSD, doing so much damage. Goodness gracious, still there. Now the much slower fire rate of Herds as they're looking to provoke a match point situation leaves Prano at 2 and 7, sitting on a tiny bit of HP inside of the front doorway. Breaks the Osa shield so they don't know that he's behind it. That's a smart play, but there's a yokai spotting him. They know exactly where he is. Location is turned on your phone. Prano, an easy to control recoil on that PDW, gets Herds, looks for another, but there's a deployable shield stopping him. This time around, is there a yokai that can get maneuvered into place, or is GDN just going to take the engagement? He does! A nice 3K from GDN behind the server rack, and it's match point for W7M.
And this is the thing, there are impactless kills and there are impactful kills. GDN only has 3 kills, but all 3 of those kills came in that round of ventilation defense that we just saw, which means they definitely had impact because one of those was in a 1 versus 1 situation, literally winning his team a round, and I believe a small pause has been called as a player of W7M has to reconnect into a lobby real quick, so just sit with us for just a moment. In the meantime, G2 having a hard time really keeping their lead in that round. They went very aggressive on the execute and they lost players during so. The plan did not go down successfully as Prana had to get off it due to lack of cover. When Citizen rushed on through with that Candela and got taken out, he figured, well, there is no cover, I cannot plant no longer. I'm gonna try and win this 1 versus 2 instead. He was close, he got the 1 kill, but that was also all he got. This border game is not gonna be as close as we thought it was gonna be. But at the same time, these two teams have met under different circumstances than what we had hoped, because if the games earlier had gone in a different direction, this game would decide whether G2 would go to playoffs or not, but unfortunately, that is not the case right now.
Curious what the tech pause is. They're having some issues at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like it's getting resolved. Yep, it looks to be the case. I see some hand signals being dealt out there by the admin. And and a tactical timeout. So we go from a tech timeout, so that's a technical problem, to a tactical timeout. Now the coaches can talk to their teams and figure out what's the next step. For w7m.
I think what they did was they called a tech pause because there was something going on with maybe the mics. As you can see, a couple of the Brazilian coaches don't have headsets on.
Yeah.
Twister during Furia's matches earlier today and yesterday, he was not wearing a headset one bit. It's a technical timeout, so Tom can be talking to the teams. Tom obviously is Shaz.
I was gonna say, who's Tom? It's Shaz.
Only your coach.
I call him Shazzy.
Okay. They can talk, but I mean, G2's not really taking advantage of it. What more can they say? It's match point for w7m. Again, it might not be a meaningful match for G2 at all. It's not. Nothing changes for G2. They don't need to show any strats. Surely, if you play them again on border, there's not going to be a cap that comes out.
No, I don't think so.
But for w7m, of course, this is very important. Looking, I don't want to say better on defense because they're 2-1 so far on defense. They're significantly better on the first 4 rounds of attack where they went perfect. w7m now will go over to the bathroom bomb site. 3 minutes might separate them from 50 SI points versus 105 SI points. I'd like to remind you all, as I now sell out for the R6 Share program on the bottom, that there are a number of teams that have access to full bundles. You can get the operator cards in the background. You get your own guns. You get your own uniforms. G2 is one of those teams. w7m has an R6 Share skin on an SMG-11 that you can still purchase in the shop. They don't have a full kit. Other teams that are present at this event that have that full kit, Liquid is one of them. DarkZero is one of them. Astralis is one of them. BDS, as you just saw on your screen, is another. I do find it funny, by the way, that they gave them to a lot of those like legacy orgs that have been around forever and always had a huge amount of success, and then a lot of those orgs just decided to not qualify for this event. So
They decided not to qualify?
at the time, greatness. Now, despair.
Damn.
Obviously, there was more criteria for the record than just being a good team.
It's just a choice of one team to another.
It's not like, okay, well, you did well, so we're going to give you a full skin. Full skin, full kit. First kill is on to Ali Mao Herds with the FMG. Different SMG in the hands of the smoke. Herds breaks double digits with that one. He joins Keys as the two players that have been carrying the way for w7m. And a grenade goes off that, if just an inch to the left, likely would have killed the smoke, but does not do that. Citizen using the suppressed sniper on Glass. He just saw the head. I don't think he actually saw it, Nick. I don't think he knows that there's a player by the bomb chassis of Herds. I think Herds managed to get away with this one, and he can possibly win the gunfight against the Glass.
Just don't wiggle too much. Don't make a peep, don't make a sound, because if you do, Citizen will find you, hunt you down, and take you out because you only have 20 HP left.
Oh no, Volps.
Oh, it's defeat!
Volp shot away, but so little damage.
He's
and you gotta think,
proning,
look at him, look at this, look at this. It's the army crawl. No! Oh, Citizen with 2. Nicely well played. G2 surrender the first pick, but after that, the kill feed is theirs. The Glass still in play, and you can say, be very quiet. We're hunting rabbits. The rabbits in this case. w7m popping up and down. Keys is left alone upstairs. So the Glass still prone on the ground as the diffuser gets planted by Prano. And G2 get away with that objective. Citizen missing out on an opportunity, but there you go. Look at that.
God.
What a ridiculous set of circumstances for Citizen. He's just having a gay old time.
He's having too much fun.
He's just having so much fun right now. First is Caveira, then playing a suppressed Glass. Going in, you have Army Crawl on one side, Army Crawl on the other side. G2 are making w7m work for this victory. They've at least secured a single point, but that's not good enough. You need all 3. If G2 push it to overtime, that is all she wrote for w7m's chances to move up in this group. Remind you that they will move up in the group, but not move past the elimination. They're out. They're not going to playoffs.
Citizen
Something
getting,
funny for you.
No, it's the whole Citizen situation, playing flex operators with suppressors and having, like, he's top ranking for his team as well. It's like he's not even trying, and he's outperforming all of his teammates and majority of w7m individually as well, with only keys above him on 13 kills. I do find that funny, yeah. It speaks volumes about Citizen as a player, but also just, you know, having fun in the server can really get you very far. And I think whether you're trying 100% or trying 50%, having fun is always one of the key factors to look into, because if you're enjoying yourself and enjoying your time spent in the server with your teammates, that usually leads to creativity, which leads to success, and of course that leads to victories. So whether you play the game casually or extremely competitively, if the fun is gone, try and get it back, because it really does make a difference.
Great stuff.
Great stuff.
Great stuff here for both of these teams. It seems like Citizen is on whatever he wants to be, and he's on one right now. Go back on the glass. Ying being brought in. That's the only hard breacher. Yes, you heard that right. G2 is running hard breacherless on border. They've got the 2 secondary hard breach gadgets, affectionately referred to as can openers.
You know,
how much do you think we could convince Ubisoft to rename them can openers, by the way?
I think there's a chance. Slim, but there is.
So you're saying?
Do you know who came up with that name and told me about it? Citizen. He said, the can openers. He's like, them can openers, yeah? I'm like, what? He's like, them can openers. I'm like, what is that? Secondary hardware gadget. Ah, that's the one.
Here we go. In the midst of the smoke, 1 minute into the round, diffuser going down, Nitro Cell well placed by Volps. It takes out Prano. G2's attempt at the objective fails, but there's Citizen at the window again playing this glass amidst the smoke. Virtue's the next one in line. Down goes JV. But it's Ali Mao to secure 2 kills, actually, from Ali Mao before GDN ends his reign of terror. GDN finished off. G2 are just swarming into the bomb site, and now it's Keys to take down Doki. That Glaz is still in that same spot, and he doesn't suffer any damage from the swing. Virtue with the diffuser now, as Citizen will be the one to look over it. W7m getting quite aggressive, and finally damage being done to Citizen. Herds loses all but a single point of his life, and now it's going to be the Glaz of Citizen. Is he going to try this one, or is that the ball game? It's a huge opportunity for W7m. Are you going to peek? And he pops, and it's just too much to control for Citizen. 3 huge points for W7m. They move up in the group, and they finish in 3rd place, securing themselves a 9th to 12th place finish here at the Charlotte Major. They've gone from 50 SI points to 105. It's Heroic who are the true losers of the group as they finish at the very bottom. Top of EUL, bottom of their group. It's a learning experience for them for sure, but W7M make the best out of a bad situation, and they pick up 105 on the global standings for points for SI.
So in one way, congratulations to W7M for having a good performance and getting 3rd in their group. On the other side, of course, unfortunately, this will be it for their run at the Charlotte Major. They will not be showing up in the playoffs. So G2, congrats on making it. W7M, see you next time, maybe.
See you next time, maybe.
Yeah.
I would love to have them here. I would love to have them in person.
Absolutely.
Obviously, none of us are overjoyed with the situation that happened. It is truly unfortunate, and we wish the best for W7M moving forwards. But with the dominance they put on in BR6, I have no doubt that we're going to be seeing them again in a